Yo, welcome back to the Growth Unscripted podcast. It's your host, Devonte, where we have real, raw, and authentic conversations. And today I'm here with a good friend of mine, Justice. Justice, how you doing today, bro?
What's up, brother? Thanks for having me. I'm doing amazing. Doing amazing.
Good, I love that, bro. So real quick, before we start diving into stuff, real quick, can you actually let the audience know exactly who you are and what you do?
Yeah, for sure. So, what's up, everybody? My name is Justice Peebles. I'm from Richmond, Virginia, and I'm the president of the Men's Huddle organization. We focus on giving men a space to get guidance, support, and healing. Just a place where we can grow as brothers, as men, without judgment, without shame. You know, iron can sharpen iron, and we could just be great together. And I'm also into business. I love business. I love creating. I'm a serial entrepreneur, so you're gonna see something out there that we created with my name on it and other partners and stuff like that. Do business development, of course, do some real estate investing and stuff like that. So I'm super excited for today and just to talk some business, talk some growth.
All right, all right. So that you're a man of many hats.
I know.
Many hats.
Too
So,
many.
I know you be running around, bro.
All day long, man. Gosh.
I know the feeling. I know the feeling. So let's dive into this then.
Okay.
So, man, we can start from so many angles. Let's start with this. I want the audience to get to know more about you
Okay.
as a person.
Okay.
Okay. So, real quick, can you just give us a little bit of insight of pretty much like how was things growing up? And let's say, can you tell us also, how do you get to the point of starting to get into entrepreneurship?
Okay. So a little bit about me, grew up here, grew up in Chesterfield area, but, grew up with my family. And, I would say I grew up pretty good, super grateful for my parents just, giving us a solid foundation, even if they had to struggle some, they always made sure that they provided for us, for me and my sisters and stuff like that. And so I would fast forward high school. I went to college in California. A lot of people know, soon as I graduated, I left home, had a football opportunity. And, during that time, being on your own is a good time for people to kind of struggle forward and to fall on your own. All the way in California, I have nobody to rely on and really have too many contacts and too many people to reach out to there. And so they really couldn't save the day. I had to learn how to be a problem solver even more and things like that. And so probably after I realized that I won't gonna make it to the league, that's another thing. A lot of people, when you're young, you always think you got a chance. You always think you got a chance.
I thought I had a chance too, bro.
Tell you.
Favoritism kicked in for my coach though.
Man, what? When you go to, I went to JUCO. When you go to them JUCOs, you start to see other athletes from all over them Floridas, people in Florida and California and Texas, them boys ball. And they huge. I mean, they just way
stocky.
Man, what?
It's bro, it's 6'1", weigh 280 pounds solid. I'm like, yo,
right.
Who feeding you?
Right. and then I started to really hit me. I'm like, okay, well, reality is I'm probably not gonna make it to the league. But I think the principles from sports helped shape just my mindset into being a leader, into being confident and things like that. So I think everybody should always have their kids into some type of sport or activity. But once I realized I wasn't going to make it to the league or anything like that, I realized I wanted to start to explore. I feel like young adults go through an exploring year, whether it's right out of high school or post-college, or even during college too as well. There's a gap period where we're exploring and trying to search for something a little bit greater. And so after I realized I wasn't going to play football, it kind of hit me man, what else is out there for me? I'm young, 19, 20, what else is out there for me? And I came back home to be mentored under my dad and some other professionals, some other business people. And, I was like, yo, and told my dad, hey, show me the way. I'm going to shut up for a whole year. I just want to listen to you. We got to do that sometimes. I ain't going to lie. We got to shut up and listen to the people that's kind of where we want to be. And we have to humble ourselves and do that. And I did that for a year, and I grown so much. I was it molded me into figuring out what I wanted to do next. And so I did that for a year, and that was the start of my entrepreneurship journey. Just being under my father and under other people that are doing things that I want to do. Right, whether it's being able to make money and make a lot of money, not just working a 9 to 5. And there's nothing wrong with a 9 to 5, but just wanting more. I always am somebody who wants more and wants more for like everybody else around me as well. So that was kind of my spark moment.
Okay, I love it. So so pretty much, right? You was, of course, like you said, you was trying to try for sports, got into football. You're hoping that was something come out of it,
Right.
But when reality set in, you realize like, dang, this is not gonna be the cards for me. So then it's like, okay, what can I do next?
Facts.
So
true.
when you started talking with your dad, and you started working with your dad or learning from your dad?
I started learning from my dad. My dad actually just had a stroke, probably maybe a year before I came home.
Okay.
So he had a stroke, and so he couldn't even work anymore as well. And so, my dad, he from the street, so he like, he got a hustler mentality to him. And so he just was like showing me like different principles of business and of like entrepreneurship and money. So learning how to not just add and subtract money, right? Because everybody do that with a 9 to 5, and with any job you get, you add, you make money. If you ain't got no dollars, if you broke, first thing you got to do is add and go get some money, right? And then after that, you would subtract your necessities, right? House, phone bill, car note, paying for whatever you got to pay for. And I feel like a lot of people get stuck at that adding and subtracting. But when I started to get mentored and coached by the people that coach me, they taught me how to multiply money. What does that look like, right? I was like, multiply money, like, okay, stocks or whatever. You hear multiply, you hear multiplication. Forex, you hear that stuff.
Trading, yeah.
But it's way bigger than that. It's about learning how money multiplies and learning how to invest in different things that can be tangible. Like real estate is tangible, right? Everyone hears that, but what other things can you invest in? I can invest in a business, right? I can invest into yourself. What does that look like? Reading books. Oh my gosh. Black people do not read, and a lot of us are stuck, and we don't have keys to doors that we want to unlock because we don't read.
Why do you think that is, though?
We were never taught reading as like a priority in our households a lot. So they glorified, and this is no disrespect to anybody, but like glorified like the sports and the athletes and the music, right? Those are things that's like, those are our culture stuff, but they never put so much emphasis on the educational side, because a lot of them, I don't want to say they weren't taught, but it just wasn't that emphasized in our households. And so that's why a lot of people can't really read that well, can't really write that well. And so it wasn't taught at all. But I had this one day, this man came to me, he said, this old guy, he was like, listen, I'm gonna be honest with you. If you want to hide something from black people, put it in a book. And I took offense to that day. I said, you're not talking to me, saying you're not talking to me. And from that day forward, I started to pick up a book. And one of the first books I picked up was like Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And everyone hears that all the time. But like when you read the book, it's not about a poor person and a rich person. It's about different styles of living. And the poor person, the poor dad, quote unquote, the poor dad, he wasn't actually poor. He had a college degree. He had, a good job. He had a nice house, white picket fence. But the poor dad versus the rich dad, the main shift was like the mindset and how they viewed and how they executed money. And so, That
was a really good book too. That was actually one of the very first books I got into when I was, what was it? I was in high school, and I started getting into entrepreneurship when, funny enough, it was actually literally around my senior year. During the entire rest of the time, though, I see people selling candy and all that. I'm like, I'm not thinking nothing of it, right?
Right.
And then one of the people that I knew, he used to go to Roses in Emporia, and I ain't gonna say his name, but he used to go to Roses in Emporia. He used to go in there and get the boxes of Snickers and everything. He'll steal it though, and we pay him $5.
That's 100% profit,
right?
He's making times.
All we do is paying $5.
Yeah.
$5, get like a 40 pack of Snickers, Skittles, and all that. Go to school, selling for like $1 each. Bro, there was one time I made like $300 in 1 week. I was like,
that's some good money in high school.
Right.
That's good money. If you making $300 in high school, that's good money.
Right. And I was like, yo, why more people not doing this?
Right.
So I started getting more into entrepreneurship, and then I started reading into like, Rich Dad Poor Dad,
Right.
Think and Grow Rich,
Right.
and stuff like that. And even from my perspective of the story for Think and Grow Rich, no, my bad, Rich Dad Poor Dad, it was definitely the part of like we started getting into more like the real estate aspect of things. And learning more about like, the equity, learning more about property value and how you can put your money in to get it back.
So good.
Right?
Yeah.
So like that was like a really big thing for me. So when you started getting into this stuff, right? Was you at a time though in your life where you was like, oh, I'm gonna be like a millionaire by like 2 weeks from now or something like that? How did that, like, what was your mindset during that process? And tell me, like, when you was going through this type of process, right?
Yeah.
What was the point when was like a realization part of the entrepreneurship that kicked in for you that you had to realize?
So good. Great question. Great question. Man, honestly, I feel like a lot of people have a false expectations when it comes to you trying to be an entrepreneur and like what it takes. And I was 100% that guy. I'm like, listen, by 25, like I'm gonna have my parents retired. I'm gonna be good. I know the house that I want, like the cars that I want to drive. And someone told me this quote. They say we overestimate what we can do in 1 year, but we underestimate what we can do in 5.
That's deep.
And yeah, he told me that, and I was like, it made me think about things different. And so when I first started off, I'm not gonna lie, we have a lot of entrepreneurial goals. Like I had 5 businesses I wanted to start at one time. And at one point I was focused on all 5 of those businesses at once. But what I realized is that it was taken away from me putting 100% just into one. And so I had to kind of prioritize and have the understanding like, hey, I need to start with just one business and focus on that and grow that and put my all into that day and night and not let my desire to want to create and to be an entrepreneur supersedes like the plan to be able to just focus on one thing at a time. Because it's so key. It's like if I have 5 things and I divide it up by 20, I'm only giving 20% of each versus 100% to one thing. So I had to go through those different trial and errors of like months of like, researching and trying to make decisions and like failing. You're going to fail a lot. And honestly, I would say entrepreneurship is harder. It's probably one of the hardest things that I had to do, being an entrepreneur. And so that like journey and that destination is something that you got to be committed to for the long term, right? And I'm gonna say another thing there's another thing that what we don't do a lot. And I only know this because of my own experience and from like seeing people and coaching people myself and talking to them.
Of course.
Denzel said, we don't plan to fail, we fail to plan. He said, we don't, I'm not gonna say it again because I can't. I said it right the first time. I'm not gonna say it twice.
I ain't gonna try to mess it up now.
I ain't gonna stop messing up now. It was good. But I say that to say is that when you set out to be an entrepreneur, you have to plan out your success. Think about it. How can I plan how to win? Right? What do those steps look like in my field? And you have to take in. If you don't know the answer, you know what you need to do? Go talk to someone else who like has the answer that you're looking for that's in your field. So that's like 2 things that we don't do. We don't plan enough for our success, and we don't go talk to other people that's doing what we want to do. And even investing time into them, like if you got to take somebody out to dinner, go pay that $50, $60, $70 to talk to them, let them eat much good food and give you all the game. And so those are 2 of the things, and I honestly kind of forgot your question a little bit.
You good?
And so, but those are some things that I picked on the journey on like trying to discover and fail forward being an entrepreneur. Because an entrepreneur, you're really an inventor. You're really you're really like an innovator, essentially.
You are. You definitely are.
You're really an innovator.
And you good till you forgot about the question. That's this whole part of growth unscripted.
I know, right.
That's the whole reason.
Right.
But okay, so I love that. And that's actually crazy too, the way you broke it down like that. Because I actually, I would say from my experience, entrepreneurship, when I started getting into about network marketing, that's why I started really getting introduced to like a lot of different stuff with entrepreneurship. And of course, during that time of me doing network marketing, of course, I've heard, oh, it's a scam, pyramid scheme, stuff like that. But then, when I started getting more, like learning more into it, yes, it has a structure, but at the same time, it's almost honestly no different than a job. Because you work in a job, you making $17, $12, $13 an hour.
So good.
The only difference is that, yes, I'm maybe getting, the only difference though is that I have opportunity to get out of a job with this.
Right.
And it's that, once again, like you said, it's that hustle mentality.
Right.
And honestly, too, some people live in a shell to where like they don't want to be told no. Right. So, and then also it's the security blanket. They care about the security of that constant paycheck keep coming in. So you had that constant paycheck keep coming in, you're going to want to stay in your place because because at that point, that regardless of what's going to happen, you'll have that constant paycheck coming in. But then here's a realization though. We literally seen this, we all of us seen this happen back in 2020 when COVID happened.
Right.
So when COVID happened, a lot of people lost their jobs.
No, for sure.
And when they got laid off, people was going crazy because it's like, wow, I didn't know my job would let me off after working 20, 30 plus years.
Right.
But it's the realization that people got to understand that they are a number. We are all numbers when it comes to a job. Because literally, you can die tomorrow. That has somebody replace you probably by the midnight. That's just filling that position.
Yeah, so good.
So people put in so much effort into something that doesn't really care for them and can care less about what's going on in your life because at the end of the day, the only thing they care about is making money. And they're busy. And it's a bit from a business perspective, I can get that.
Right.
Yes, even though, yes, it's fucked up on a humane level.
Right.
It is.
Right.
But at the same time, though, it's just how businesses work.
Right.
Right.
1000%.
So
it's really good.
When you when you start getting into entrepreneurship heavy and everything now, right? What was the, what would you say would have been like one of the most toughest moments in your life when it terms of entrepreneurship?
It's a good question. I would say probably like starting like the first business and like seeing it all the way through to the point of like your version of success, because success can be different. But I would say that first initial, you got to break the wall first. Like you got to break the wall with entrepreneurship, whether that looks like, you filing the right paperwork and documents or whatever. It looks like you getting your first clients, right? I tell people in entrepreneurship, I say, I don't care how much paperwork you got. If you don't got no clients, you ain't got no business. And it made me shift. I've learned how to like shift my focus to, of course, you want to get the right documentation and paperwork and whatever. But I tell entrepreneurs, like, before you go commit to doing all this stuff, like, let's go see if you can get some clients first. Like if you're a photographer, go get you a camera, and go watch a YouTube video, watch about 3 to 4 to 5, how many ever you need to get the game down, and see if you can get you a client, because that is the name of the game in business, right? It's about can you sell whatever you're offering, whether it's a service, whether it's a product. And so for me, I actually started a nonprofit organization for my first business, and like they don't teach you how to get a 501c3 like tax exemption form because it comes with so many benefits. And so for me, it took me 6 months to get 6 to 8 months to get like my official like tax exemption status. And that was the first business that I wanted to start, like, because I seen so many people struggling around my age, and I wanted to give us a space where we can do that. And it was called The Better Me, and we had a space for young adults to make the transition through life. But that was probably the hardest thing. It took me such a long time to research it, but now it took me 6 months to do it. I can probably do it in a day right now. If someone else needed to start a nonprofit organization, I can show you how to get it in one day versus like the journey of, 6 months to 8 months. And so
down the road,
you got to break that first wall, that first barrier, get you some clients. That's the name of the game. Figure out how to get some clients. And so
beautifully said. So now, before we continue, I want to ask you a question.
Okay.
How are you feeling? How you been feeling mentally? Like with everything you got going on, how are you been feeling mentally?
Myself? How I've been feeling mentally?
You.
Man, guys don't like, I run like an organization for men's like wellness, and I don't even like talking about my wellness sometimes. They're like, bro, you need to talk too.
You
Like,
do. That's what this podcast is
Right.
for. I told you, you gotta be your authentic self. That is
Yeah.
the number one rule.
Yeah. Honestly, I go through slumps. I go through different like mentally and like emotionally, like where it's like heavier. And so probably like the summertime was like a really heavier season for me, mentally and emotionally, because it was just so many just different things that I'm just taking on as like a man, as a leader, as an entrepreneur, as a fiance, as a president of the organization, of like, running my business, helping my fiance with her business, and then still trying to like do family. And so I didn't believe in work-life balance until I broke down into tears one day over dinner. It's like, something's wrong. I can't do this. I wasn't taking any like self-care or personal time. And it was me and my fiance, and I broke down at the table, just cried out. And I was just like, I don't know what's going on, but like, I don't know if I might have had like a small like panic attack or anxiety attack, but I just broke down. And I realized that like being an entrepreneur, you have to have that work-life balance. And so I'm coming out of a season, maybe like even like as early as like last week. Last week I felt like was my getting over the hump of the summer that I was dealing with, like emotionally and physically. So I have my different seasons where I'm up and where I'm down, and so that's me being real.
No, I appreciate that.
Real, yeah.
It's actually funny you say it that way, because that I actually had something similar like that happen to me too last year. Because like it was like me and my ex, we broke up and stuff. It was a mutual thing, and that it's just that the romantic side wasn't there anymore. So it was me, her, and our daughter. We were living with her parents and stuff to help us out with our daughter and everything. And we agreed on a certain date or whatever that I'll let her parents know that me and her just wasn't gonna be together no more. And like during the day of it happening, I never in my life ever felt anxiety before. Ever in my life, I never felt anxiety before. And like her parents, like I treat them as like actually like a mom and dad. That's how close I've gotten with them, right? And so like when I was getting there, so when it was getting to that moment, I was like speaking about it and everything, letting them know and everything, and like it was just called like I was literally like choking up, like trying to talk. Yeah. And part of the reason too, as well, was because like I had an opportunity to like go to Florida, right, and be able to work with some people there at the time to be able to like better myself, better my situation, so I can help improve myself, so I can also help out my daughter and everything, right. And that's another thing too, is that we be so focused on the people around us, we don't get the chance to build our own foundation for ourselves to be able to protect the ones that we love.
So good.
And so, like during all this time, right? I let them know what's up. Me and the dad, we always been cool. It was more so her mom. I more so was worried about more. And so, like, her mom, she said, like, when I told her that, she's like, so you're going to leave. You're going to abandon your daughter again. And, like, here's the thing. During all my times, right, in my life, like, during the process of me having our daughter and everything, like, I've had my ups and downs. I've had moments where people, even my own parents, my own family, have told me, like, I'm abandoning my daughter. And, like, even, they, like, question a lot of crazy stuff. But they were saying, like, I abandoned my daughter. They also said, too, like, I'm not putting enough effort in. I felt like I wasn't putting enough effort in and stuff. And people who just have doubts that I'm going to be a certain standard, be a certain type of father for her. And so when I started getting more, like, when I started, like, thinking about all of that, and then her mom telling me that, it just honestly just caused me to break down crying. Because at that point, it made me feel bad, because I'm trying to let them know that that's not me, because I'm not trying to abandon her, because I know what the sense of abandonment feels like. It's not something that you're supposed to, that's not a good feeling. Especially like coming from me growing up, I didn't have my mom and dad really like that. Talking about going to football, having football games, hoping your father going to be there, and he only lives 5 minutes down the street but never shows. or doing a play as a kid, and you hoping to see your loved ones out there, and they're not really there. And over a certain period of time, you just get used to it, and yeah, you may get over at that time, but thing is, when you carry on, when you get like older and older,
Yeah.
these things tend to still carry some part within you to where you still feel like that kid again.
100%.
And so when you're going through all this stuff, right?
Yeah.
It's very important. I always tell people it's very important that you focus on your self-care and self-love,
Yeah.
and self-improvement.
Mm-hmm.
Because at the end of the day, yes, we all trying to build a business. We all trying to grow and become something better.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, what's the point of us doing that if we can't even support our own selves and hold our own selves up? Because we both know this. It's honest. It's a hard world out there.
It sure is, especially for men. Men, like you said, like men will go mute before we communicate how we feel about something because we may be afraid of the outcome. And I'm always trying to teach men that like being a man is being able to understand like how to communicate and when you need to communicate, especially when it comes to important things and decisions in your life. Like we have to be okay with making the hard decision as men, and it's gonna happen time and time again. And I tell all men, whether they like it or not, every man out there, you're a leader, and somebody's following you, whether you know it or not. And so you have to be able to not only speak up for like those things, but also speak up for yourself when you need to take a break, and like you have to catch yourself before you explode on somebody else on accident. Because I get a lot of men that like blow up, and it's because they've been keeping things in for like, they just keep things in and they wait and build up and build up and build up until they blow up on somebody that it wasn't even meant for them, and it happens.
Agreed.
It happens a lot with men. And so
tell me, why you think is it that for men that we hold ourselves in so much, and then also like why that we do have like those moments to where like we do like get to that boiling point that we just explode and just completely go out of character?
Well, reality is it's like it was built from a previous generation and like taught us to be a man and to like men don't cry. A man doesn't cry. A man is the head of the household. A men's job is to work, 24/7 and to make sure they provide. But, they never say it's a man's job to make sure that you take care of your mental health, right? They never say that, hey, it is okay for you to cry, and creating those spaces where men can have that, right? And so a lot of times men aren't even safe in their own households. A lot of men and a lot of people aren't even safe in their own households. So it's like, is there any spaces for men to talk to where they can be safe, where they can be vulnerable, where they can have a place to cry and won't be judged for the things that you're going through, for the good and for the bad? And so that's what the Men's Huddle, that's what we do, trying to provide that space for men to go through things and have a space outside of your home, outside of church, a place where it doesn't matter who you are, you can come to and you can be supported and you can be loved and you can be directed by other men that you can relate to, other men that's been where you are. And, no matter what you're going through, whether it's suicide, whether it's depression, whether it's a relationship problem, it's that place where you can be real, 100,000%. Men need a place to be real. No sugarcoating, no nothing, no nothing. Men like to be real, like the barbershop, like the football field, at practice. Like, we can just totally let loose and be real. And so there's not enough spaces like those for men. And I think having spaces like those help create an avenue for men to go seek other support, like therapy, right? Because therapy has a bad rep from the name, but it has a bad rep for the name. Just because you say therapy, I don't need to go to therapy. I'm good. I'm fine. What you judging me for? Look at yourself. I don't need to go to therapy. Not only that, I'm not going. You go with your lady one time because she tell you to, but you don't really think about to go for yourself. And another thing is guys that go to therapy may go to therapy like one time and like, man, they had a bad experience. And so I always tell men, therapy is like any type of relationship. You got to have a vetting process with different therapists if you don't have one that you like. And a lot of men, so we're having to teach men that. You got to teach men these things to give them tools so they can continue to be the best men that God wants them to be. And so
I agree. Therapy is definitely important. I've been in therapy. I've been in therapy a couple years ago. Shout out to Anita. Can't wait to have her on the show. But I'll be honest, like I always said anyway, for me, at least from my experience, I always felt like women are nurturers by nature, right? So like I was looking for a female therapist because I feel like that she'll be able to provide an insight from a nurturer side to where I'll be able to understand and comprehend. Not saying the man wouldn't, of course, but I just felt like that, at least at that time, that would be the best option.
Right.
And so going through it with her, like we was able to like honestly uncover a lot of different stuff about myself. I didn't know why I acted a certain way back then, in terms of why it ties into today, in terms of like, whether that's talk about me dating or just really me being me.
Yeah.
And so I would definitely say that therapy definitely does help. It helps out for you to organize everything, right?
Right.
Like, yes, so therapy helps you out, organize everything from A to B, right? But now it's up to you to make the effort yourself, though, to get from A to B.
Right.
You feel me?
Yeah.
So, like, therapy is great, but definitely be able to put in the effort yourself to make sure to see the results you want to see is the next step.
Right.
I think that's also another thing why some people don't feel like therapy doesn't work out, because they get the knowledge, but they don't know how to apply that knowledge to help them out.
You know what it is, though?
What?
What you're saying is you need therapy, but you also need a community to go through the work with as well.
Agreed.
So a lot of times people will go to therapy, and sometimes therapy is good for people, that's all they need. But most cases, people are looking for a community of people to do life with and to grow with, and not the same community you've been doing life with. And I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with that. Your community is whoever, but you want to have people that can help you unlock the best version of yourself. Or what people around you do that. You gotta ask yourself those questions. And so people, what you're explaining, and to my ears, it's just all I'm hearing is like, you gotta have community to hold you accountable on your journey of you fixing and working on whatever things internally that you're working on. 'Cause support system. Gotta have a support system.
Agreed.
Outside of just
valuable.
outside my brothers that we can go to the bar, we can go get a drink, but can we be real? And we had at one of our sessions, it was about, I think it was in February. It's by one of our another leader, but his name Algernon. He said a lot of us in this room got a lot of friends and got a lot of long relationships for 20, 30 years, and they don't have any substance there. You got relationships with no substance.
Could you clarify that for the audience?
So
what you mean by that?
A relationship with no substance is like, we've been friends, best friends, and doing a lot of things for the last 20, 30 years. And we've been doing the same thing for the last 20, 30 years, whether we're going out to the bar, whether we are, going out to party, whether I only see you for sporting events, whether I only see you, for a birthday party, right? You got these friends, but when you hit that rock bottom, you get to see people for real when you hit rock bottom, right?
Yeah.
When you hit rock bottom, is who's there for you when you're doing that time, right? And that's the substance, right? When I'm going through relationship problems, when I'm going through an illness, when I'm going through spiritual battles, when I'm going through an identity crisis, when I'm going through problems with my kids, right? Who's there for you when those things arise? That's the substance right there. So a lot of relationships are built off of other things that doesn't really have a lot of substance to it. And that was one of the things that we had a conversation about, and we did a little activity and stuff to help exploit that, to like, dang, it made you realize like, dang, I've known you for 20 years and we really don't know each other at all. And so
can I ask you a question?
Yes, sir.
Have you ever thought about suicide in any part of your life?
I feel like that thinking about suicide, I feel like we have a lot of thoughts in our head, right? I think the brain has like I don't know the number, I'm going to guess like 10,000 thoughts a day, right? It might be lower, probably lower, but anywhere between, 2 to 5 to 10,000 thoughts a day. And I've I never thought about suicide to take the action, but I thought about suicide and like
Feeling that nobody gonna care that you leave.
not that. Just like
Okay.
if I wanted to, I could, And so I wasn't thinking about suicide in a sense like I want to commit it, but a thought of like, man, it is easy to do it if I really wanted to, right? And so I was going through a period in my life. I tore my Achilles, and this was probably one of the worst pains I ever been in. I had surgery and I suffered like nerve damage, like really, really drastic bad nerve damage because of they hit some type of nerve, and when they did the nerve block, and it messed me up to the point where I couldn't even imagine only being able to sleep like 15, 20, 30 minutes a day for like 2 months. My doctor said I was on the verge of having a stroke because of the pain that I was going through. And I went to so many hospitals. They said you can't really do nothing about nerve damage, right? And I feel like during that time I was like a really, really dark space for me. And I never thought about suicide, but I knew if I wanted to, like I could, if that makes sense. Like I'm not saying that I thought about it.
You're capable of doing it. If it
I'm
really
capable, and I can see how people can bring that thought on with the different things that they go through, right? And that's why I always tell people, and Suicide Awareness Month is coming up too. It's actually next month in September. And so all the people that's like thinking about it, like the world is better with you in it, and just go talk to somebody. Like you can talk to me, you can call me anytime. My name is Justice Peebles. You can look me up. I'll respond, and we can talk through anything. And I think that community is what's lacking when people are like on that journey. Like there's nothing too bad in this world that can't be solved with a community.
I agree.
There's nothing too bad in this world. I don't care how bad it is. I don't care who cheated on what. I don't care, I'm not gonna say how much pain you've been in, but like that's why I think God is important and is a big like part of my life, because like when I was going through that pain, it was only me and God there. I was like, I'm telling you, no one call on God until you need him, just like the police. No one likes the police.
Yeah.
But if somebody's about to rob your house, if somebody's, if you get in a car accident, you're gonna need it. And so when you're going through that rough patch spiritually, like I'm a follower of Jesus, and Jesus Christ, he's my Lord and Savior, and that has been the biggest difference to those thoughts for me, right? And so not even allowing the thoughts to transpire in my mind to make me want to even go act. And so that community and that relationship with God, I think, is like the biggest game changer, at least for me, when it comes to that. And so,
okay, I love that. I'm glad that you was actually able to, during that process of your life, to actually find that specific thing that you be able to hold on to, and then be able to have a full understanding of it. Because I think I told you briefly. For me, I definitely believe in higher power. I definitely believe there is a God, 100%. But I know everybody has different aspects
100%.
and views on how they view things.
100%.
And sometimes those dark moments, right? I mean, doesn't matter if you are talking about Allah, Ashe,
right.
It doesn't matter who it is, right?
Right.
Like if you, as long as it's a God that you can believe in and you trust and you have faith in, that's what matters more than anything. It's having that faith and having that belief that that you're just not alone in this. There is somebody and there is a being out there who actually believes in you and wants to see you, grow, see you be better,
For sure.
and actually be in a more positive light.
100%.
So to kind of turn things around a little bit, so the men's huddle.
Yeah.
So could you give me a little bit more information about like what's that about and why you even started in the first place?
Honestly, the men's huddle, it wasn't even started by me. It was started by another individual, and I just kind of picking up the torch next. I started a few organizations beforehand, and I have the experience, and I understand how to run an organization, but bigger than that, like I love people, and I love to like help people get to their best self. And so with me, whenever you see me, and if you want to be around me, I'm letting you know like I have not a high standard, but like we gonna hold each other accountable. We're gonna hold each other accountable straight like that, like like how you doing today, check-ins, like making sure that you're holding me to the things that I say that I want to do, and vice versa. And that's how, like, that's why I just love people, because people can go from like zero to like hero. It's so many people that has came from nothing to become something. I want everyone to be able to tap into that growth, right? How do you tap into that person that you're always meant to be? And who's out there helping you achieve that? And so the men's huddle is a space where men can have the opportunity to be able to grow into their best self, right? You got other people that is on a journey where you're trying to go, or where you've been, and giving men that outlet to be real and to go through different things together. But not only that, we celebrate victories. We had three men start therapy for the first time. We had this is just last month, we had 3 men find new jobs. We got 2 men starting new careers. One of them is getting that barber's license. The other one is in the IT field. He just graduated his certification and got his first job. And so men are leveling up. We got to have a space where men can level up, because we're the leaders and the pillars in our community.
Agreed.
So if we're not doing good, then odds are it's going to reflect everything else in our community, in our households, in our neighborhoods. And I'm not going to say there's not enough men, but we need more men stepping up to show men how to be men, especially the younger generation, especially our generation. We got control of the ship now. And so the men's huddle is that piece, that navigation, that compass that can help men, point them in different directions on how they can become their best self.
I love that. I'll admit, even when I went to the first one for the very first time a couple weeks ago, last week, it was, I ain't gonna lie, it was different. It was something I never really like experienced before.
Yeah.
Especially being around a group of other men and other like-minded men as well. I mean, of course, you have like some very emotional ones.
Right,
but, right. That's to be expected.
No, yeah.
To be expected. But it's just that the whole purpose that everybody was still there for the similar reason.
Exactly.
And honestly, one of the biggest things that we both know that the government fears unity. And if we can have a united front when it comes to having the huddle and having other organizations and having those times where we actually have a large collective of people all on the same accord, that's when we become the most dangerous to them. And so, just imagine an army, of like 1,000, 2,000. Let's just say 10,000 men and women, right? All unified, and all of them know their purpose, all moving in one accord. That's some crazy shit. People, there's people who be scared. They would think it's the end of times.
Nah, for real.
And that's the thing, right? Like, it's a process, but it's a thing that getting those right individuals who actually wants to be a part of something bigger than themselves.
Yeah,
right.
For sure.
And then getting into the right rooms, getting to the right moments and opportunities when those opportunities arise to get into just those right spaces to fit. You feel me?
Yeah.
And so I love what you've been doing with the men's huddle.
Appreciate
honestly, I just can't wait for more.
Yeah, no, we're gonna turn up.
And I know you did a flyer, but what was it that y'all had coming up soon?
Yeah, so we got our gala, our second annual gala. It's gonna be December 13th. And, the gala is giving us a chance to celebrate the achievements of different men over the year, and as well as have a vision for the year coming up. And so it's about expansion, right? Right now we're currently doing 1 session a month, but we're trying to expand to more sessions and the different areas in the city, right? How can we continue to expand what we have going on to the people that need it? And just keep growing, expanding partnerships, expanding relationships, and things like that. So it's going to be December 13th, the Expansion Gala. Get your tickets is also one of our fundraisers as well. And so this is how we continue to be able to pay for a session, because we got food in there every time. We got to pay for this space, and we just need things to operate day to day to continue to impact more lives. And we're starting to bring on the women now as well. And so we got a women version. They meet on Tuesday. So men meet every second Monday. The women meet on the second Tuesday. So they meet, the day after us. And so we're just continue to expand and to doing our part to help grow the community. But yeah, doing our part.
I love that. So what is it that you want to see happen not just for the huddle, but for all the stuff that you got going on.
Yeah.
What is like something that you want to focus more on, and then what is something that you want to see like flourish within the next? Let's just say by the end of next year.
That's a good question. Really shifting to economic thinking. Offering more services. All right, like if some people want to have you as a speaker, right? How can we connect the dots and make sure that we can have you become a speaker, or people that need men to show up for events or helping us set up and things like that. So trying to expand into thinking economically. I think people underestimate nonprofits for just being like a free type of service. And so trying to continue to, the Huddle is free, but how can we fund our own selves, right? How can we get more, partnerships with the city? How can we continue to expand and just have more offerings for people and stuff like that? And so that's just with the Huddle. But with myself and with businesses, just really shifting our mindset to thinking like, I just created a model. It's called, I don't even have, what's the name? Monetary value scale. That's what I called it. Monetary value scale.
Monetary value scale.
Monetary value scale.
Okay.
And so in this model, it's 4 different levels of being able to bring in money, essentially, right? And so the first level is the 9 to 5. You call it the labor, right? And Myron Golden has something similar. I actually got part of it from him, so I'm always gonna always give shout out to people that where you get stuff from. That's okay to do. Like,
oh yeah, of course.
But I kind of switched his model up a little bit, but I call it the monetary value scale. So you got the labor 9 to 5, and then how do you graduate from that, right? To offering different services. So services is number 2, right? You learn skills, and then you be able to offer a service like photography or CPR. Like a CPR company, whatever your service, cutting grass, having a service. And then after the service is, okay, now I got to think. After the service is communication. And that's people who make money from sales, people that make money with their mouth, being able to communicate your service so well that people want to have a contract with you. Right, so you see a lot of different professionals in TV and different things like that. So the next level is communication. Okay, so you got labor 9 to 5, then you got services, then you got communication, which is contracts, sales, the GMs, and then after that you have the thinking mindset. And these are the people who are the inventors of the world, the creators of the world. Right? Why are we not? We should have our own products and everything. We should have our own cell phone company. We should have our own sports team. We should have our own whatever. People that make money from just thinking. Steve Jobs, Elon Musk. They accumulate the money from that aspect. And so, just learning this within the next year, shifting some of our business models to be thinking. How can we get to the next level of the monetary value scale? So.
You are a smart black man, brother.
All glory to God. People be like, "You got a degree?" I say, "Man, I just read and I listen to other people." So I appreciate it.
People be mind blown by that. Like, what? You didn't go to school for this?
Man, they can't believe it.
It's like, what? You didn't spend $30,000-$40,000 for this? Like, no, ma'am. I just went to the library, saw a good book, and like, why not open it up and read it?
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Well, so with all that being said. Tell me this. So I have this thing, right? What I do is it's like, of course, you probably been seeing a few of them. I do what's called unscripted tips. So every single day I always post an unscripted tip. So something either that's motivational, something moving. So for the audience, what would be your unscripted tip for the day?
Unscripted tip. Unscripted tip. Let me get a second.
I got you.
Unscripted tip for the day.
I know I threw a curveball at you.
No, you're good. I just I always try to be mindful of always just trying to be mindful. Somebody told me, say, hey, just take a second to give yourself some time to think.
I mean, yeah, that's definitely
But
fine.
yeah, I can wing it too now.
Hey, listen, unscripted.
Unscripted
We
tip.
just do it.
Okay, this is my unscripted tip. And My unscripted tip is sometimes you're going to have to do both. You're going to have to do both, especially as an entrepreneur. And so my entrepreneur is not going to want to hear this, and I don't really care so much because I'm gonna tell you the truth. I'm gonna be 100, and you'll thank me later. But like the unscripted tip is you're gonna have to do both. Sometimes you might have to work a 9 to 5 to get to your destination in your business, right? Sometimes you may have to work a 9 to 5. You may have to work 5 to 9 on your business. And I know a lot of people that quit their jobs to go pursue 100% like an entrepreneurship space, and I'm gonna say 90% of the people are not hustlers like that to be doing that. And Robert Kiyosaki said that like he stayed at his job until he was able to fully fund and fully be able to go 100% on his business. So sometimes, y'all, you got to do both. Take it from me. I'm still at my technically 9 to 5, even though it's not 9 to 5, but I still have a full-time job as well as doing all these other things. So it can be done. You just got to be able to sacrifice. You got to be obsessed with what you want to do, and you got to put time in to learn your craft. So that's my unscripted tip for the day.
Well said. Well said.
Thanks.
So before we close this off,
Okay.
So I have this thing. You're going to be my first guinea pig on this.
All right, that's cool. Let's go. That's right.
So these are what we're going to call rapid fire round.
Okay.
So pretty much all I'm going to do is you're going to tell me the first answer that comes to your mind when I read you these questions, okay?
Okay.
So one book every man should read.
One book every man should read. You said rapid fire. I'm going slow, huh? One book. I got like 10. Gosh.
Need one.
Probably the Bible.
The Bible?
I'm going to say the Bible.
Okay.
I'll say the Bible for spiritually. And then the next book I would say, because the Bible has tips for everything that you need. Even if you're not spiritual, even if you don't believe in whatever, if you read it, you can find tips on how to do business, right? You can find, but I'll give you another book. I will also say, go ahead and do Rich Dad, Poor Dad, because your mindset and it'll change, like your thinking has to be different as an entrepreneur. So you got to know what those two sides look like. So those are my two. I know I cheated, but that's two.
I'm going to let you slip this one time.
All right. That's the only one I got. I'm done.
Coffee or tea?
Tea.
What's one habit men should break immediately?
One habit a man should break immediately?
Yes.
One habit a man should always be quick to listen and slow to speak. So sometimes men respond too quickly. So the habit would be like being patient. So the habit to break would be not being patient. If that makes sense, or
no, it does. You just said that because we're doing a rapid fire round and give you a reason to speak slow. That's what that is.
I know. I'm trying to think. I don't know. Go to bed on time. Go to bed on time.
Okay.
Go to bed at a good time.
Go to bed on time.
Yeah, go to bed on time.
All right. So, what's a Richmond, Virginia food spot you can't live without?
These questions are so good. Hot for pizza.
Hot for pizza.
Yep. Hot for pizza.
That's like full restaurant name, Hot for Pizza?
That's what it's called. It's called Hot for Pizza.
Hot for Pizza.
So good. Best pizza, I think, in the city. Best wings, best Caesar salad. Low-key hole in the wall. Hole in the walls are always that's the go-to place. It's Hot for Pizza, I'm telling you.
Also, Hot for Pizza, make sure to sponsor us for this podcast.
Hot for Pizza, come on now.
Come on, we'll get you plenty of pizza
Come
orders.
on, they get a box. If they come over here and we refer them, they get a box.
Get a
box
free.
of pizza, a box of pizza for free. Question mark, maybe not.
Just saying. Good business idea. We can tell you. What's a piece of advice you would give your 18-year-old self?
Keep going. Just keep going. Don't stop. You're on the right track. Just keep going.
All right. And if you could put one message on a billboard for all men to see, what would it say?
Goodness. What would it say? Be yourself. Just be yourself.
Okay.
Be yourself.
Well, Justice, I appreciate you, bro. This was a dope
having
episode,
me,
bro.
Appreciate you having me. No, this is amazing, man. What you're doing is great. You know, the too talented to be broke. I think that is like where we gotta start at. You're too talented to be broke. So shout out to y'all. Shout out to you. Thank you so much for having me. And you know, you keep growing. Anything you need from me, I got you for sure.
I appreciate that. Also, when I make Too Talented to Be Broke, me and my business partner, because he always kept saying it a lot. Yeah. So I said, you know what, I'm going to put this on the shirt.
You got to.
And so I said, okay, you know what, I'm going to do it. And so this is like I said, this is a test mock-up shirt right now. So it's just going to get better over time.
Y'all can buy, if you want to get a shirt, telling you, put in a request now because they're gonna blow up. Too talented to be broke.
Just saying,
That's fire.
it's going. We're gonna be running around like crazy.
Yeah.
So, bro, real quick, where can they find you at if they want to get in contact with you, or do business with you? Where can they get in contact with you?
Yeah, so you can get in contact with me on social media, Justice Peebles _. So it's JUSTICE PEE, B as in boy, LES, and then just _. And yeah, you can catch me there. My email is jpeebles.inc@gmail.com. So if you want to email me, and yeah, y'all can reach out. Any tips, anything you need, anything you want. You know, I'm an open book. We don't gatekeep over here, you know, but we do hold each other accountable over here, but we don't gatekeep. So yeah, you can find me there.
Nice. And without further ado, bro, thank you so much. For those, also make sure to leave a review and make sure to leave 5 stars because you know this is a dope podcast. You know this is a dope episode as well. And real quick, a topic that y'all want us to cover, go over, and especially in depth, make sure to leave that down below in the review section so that way I can read it. I promise you I will read all reviews. And also, if somebody gives me a dope tip too, of what they went through, what they feel like there's like their best motivational saying, I'll make sure to give you a shout out on the next episode as well. But without further ado, y'all take care. Peace out.